Hello and welcome, everybody. Josh the RV Nerd having a great time down at Keystone today because I've never been able to see one of these in person before. Coming in hot off the heels of the Cougar Hero Edition, this is the Fuzion Stars and Stripes Edition paint package, and it is... the camera doesn't do this thing justice. When you see it in person, I think you're gonna be like, whoa, because here's, if I tell you it's a gray painted Fuzion with some red, white, and blue graphics. Like that doesn't, you don't understand how it actually looks in person. Also, this is a very different kind of RV paint package. This is a matte paint package, which looks phenomenal. But you do need to take care of it differently. Like you don't use the same abrasive scrubbers and stuff to clean this like you normally would. But the fact is, if you want to really turn some heads and flex your patriotism, that's kind of what this one is here. Now, it's available on any of the big full Fuzion models. Today, we happen to be looking at the 419, which is pretty much the default #1 selling fifth wheel toy hauler floor plan that any manufacturer builds, where you have a kitchen slide on one side, an island in the middle, angle entertainment center coming off a half bathroom with a loft above it, a large garage in the back. This has a bed slide, washer dryer prep in the bedroom, and you've got the full super slide 4-piece super sofa, quadruple recliner with 2 heat massage seats and 2 fold down console armrests with some power outlets. And a partridge in a pear tree. That's a lot to say. But it also has a 5500 generator that's now dual fuel, propane or gas, which is new. They have a variety of solar packages that you can put some pretty good solar right on here from the factory level. Fantastic weather package. They've upgraded to 8K axles with Dexter suspension package. They are changing to an improved, more highly efficient air system. What other major change? Oh! They got rid of the dual entry walk-through bathroom, and they went, based on your feedback, to a single entry door bath and closed it off from the bedroom. So I'll be curious to see if you like the thing that you said you always wanted. And if you appreciate how we get you down here and get this footage, hit that subscribe button, and let's go. And there's nothing original about the general layout that we're looking at here today. So what's nice about that is it becomes more of a question of how did Fuzion choose to execute this very popular layout? Well, like a lot of brands, and they were one of the first really to adopt the toy hauler like full slide super sofa kind of situation right here. I don't believe they offer a traditional like dinette and sofa. I don't think the slide is quite big enough to accommodate that, but they could just squeeze in 4 seats. Now, the left and right seats where you see the cup holders, those are heat and massage. The middle 2 had the fold-down armrest consoles with household and USB plugs built in. Like you see, I have the one popped open there. And one of the other nice things here is this entire thing reclines, including those 2 middle seats. That's kind of one of the nice things here. Most of your higher dollar fifth wheel toy haulers will do that, but there's some that are a little more budget friendly, we'll say, that don't. Obviously, you can tell that they've adopted what I'm referring to as the square flow windows over here, having a nice look, and it gets rid of the boxy valances and lambrequins and everything else. Although the slide is so darn tall. Like I'm estimating from floor to ceiling, it's about 7.5 foot tall up there. It almost feels like there's some wasted space now where they used to just have these big fancy pants window treatments that just don't exist anymore. Now, these windows all open for airflow. They do have bug screens. I want to point that out because not all the square flow windows that open for airflow do. But they also have the blackout privacy shades. And if I'm not mistaken, those actually have a radiant barrier backer on them there. Now, it's always tough because the ceiling of this is so darn tall that when they enclose off the entertainment center here, there's this kind of just dead area above the TV, but I've always felt like that would be really perfect for some kind of decorating or something like that. I'd be kind of curious to know what, remember the old Billy Big Mouth bass? I don't know why that just now was the first thing to pop into my head. For those who are a little bit younger and don't remember, there was a time where half of the country was obsessed with a plastic fish that would sing you songs when you pushed a button that stuck on the wall. If you don't believe me, look it up, Billy Big Mouth Bass. That was That was a whole thing. Now the entertainment center is angled toward the seating over here, so pretty much anywhere that you're at on the sofa, that's a pretty solid view. And we do, of course, have that electric space heat and Tootsie Toaster down below it. I am also happy more and more brands getting rid of the speakers built into the ceiling and everywhere, just going to a decent sound bar. I've always preferred localized audio in an RV because it doesn't seem to just blast me out of the camper, and it's just easier on my ears. Now, this has a deceptively good kitchen. It is, to be fair, a little bit limited in countertop prep space. And I know that I'm all up in the face of this kitchen slide and this island right here. I don't like to use fisheye wide-angle lenses if I could help it. And I'm basically, my abs are shaking as I lean backwards over the sofa to try to give you that view there. In person, it looks and it feels a little bit more open. Wow. Speaking of more open, the stove is not. Wow, that is just really crammed into that little cavity right there, isn't it? All right, well, hey, just being real about it. Big oven down below that, though. That's kind of cool. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this island is supposed to include a couple chairs or stools or something, but I've not been able to locate them in this RV. There actually is a hold sticker. This RV is supposed to be shipping out. This RV has a hold sticker on the front. I wonder if it's like waiting on those stools. It could be a shortage that just hasn't been fulfilled, and I just happened to walk into their building today and record the unit. So that might be, to no fault of their own, essentially. What do we want to talk about? So, right down here, notice how they don't have heat vents in the floor, and you do actually have your central vacuum system built down here into the island. So this is what I call the electric dustpan. Actually, we have 110 shore power. If you flick this up with your toe, it's going to get loud, by the way, headphone users. You might want to turn yourself down. Like to try to give you guys some warning before I do something that would hurt your eyes and or ears or brain or whatever. But you can just sweep everything into that. Now, if you want to get the whole pool cleaner kit and plug it in there, you can. But it looks like the collection unit and everything is located right there. What? Hello? What are you? Are you a cutting board? Wow! You are. Wait a minute. So, first of all, that's cool. I like this. And by the way, this cutting board is removable. So if you need to use it like a portable gas station murder hobo defender system, you absolutely can. But here's a thing. I think that can work sorry, I can't use words. Look at this. Sorry, my brain melted. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to say because I was caught off guard. Usually I have a pretty good beat on an RV, but the little handle, when you're using it as a Captain America shield, like you're chopping the green ends off some carrots, bloop, right into the double garbage basket right down there. That is cool. And I like how they even gave you a little drawer here, just so that the storage comes to you. It doesn't have to be much. Sometimes it just has to be simple, smart, easy. And I don't know why. I feel like that's a larger sink than I normally encounter. Maybe just because it's lighter color, because the dark, black gunmetal looking farm sinks have become so popular. I could be mistaken. By the way, the red packaging next to that sink, that is the monitor unit for your tire pressure monitoring system that's actually included factory standard on here. And again, because the ceiling and the slides are so tall, because you need big space for a garage, they have just a big chunk of bonus storage here, but I love that they actually put a light in there so you can see what you're doing when you open that up. That's just smart content, man. And so there's one thing on this RV that just makes me eat my shirt. In the kitchen and in the half bathroom in the garage, we had the big XL rain sensor vent fans. But in the main bathroom upstairs, we only benefit from a dollar store 4-inch fart fan. And for an RV of this caliber at this level, that just feels like a irksome miss to me. By the way, something that is easy to miss if you look just past these drawers, there actually is like a tall vertical pocket there. And I was like, whoa, what'd you do with that? And I realized, this RV has a bigger oven. You can actually put some baking sheets in there so you can make them cookies and biscuits, frozen pizzas, brother. Whatever the case may be. This is a 12-volt compressor fridge, by the way. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the capacity on that is 16.8 cubic foot. Pretty sure? Yes, 16.8 cubic foot. I checked around the labels inside and was able to locate that for you. This over here, I love the pantry system on this because every shelf except the very bottom and the middle are adjustable and removable. So I guess 2/3 of the shelves are adjustable and removable. And by the way, this is a very difficult, awkward space to try to display on camera. Since you don't have a sink in this island, there's no plumbing in the way. They were able to just kind of put some maximized drawer space in here, which obviously is fantastic for a remote control collector because, holy cow, dude, this RV has so many different TVs and fireplaces and awning lights and everything else. We're getting to the point. Remember, the RV industry is finally catching up to housing from 20 years ago. Remember when we used to have like 5 remote controls in the house and then it got narrowed down finally? The RV industry needs to start coming up with more universal remote controls. Jeez, oh Pete's. I'm looking at this and I know there's probably supposed to be some stools here. I don't know that I necessarily hate this being open air. Like, yeah, some stools to have an interior dining space would be nice, but that's kind of one of the things about a garage space back here. I'm trying to move the camera slowly while walking, not to make you sick. There's a table that's included to go between those chairs. So in a sense, you have a dedicated dining room back here. I think sometimes people like to have the ability to do some dining in the kitchen. Nice look at the sound bar there, I suppose. But leaving this open, I'm thinking, I'm a pet owner. That would be a perfect spot for my pet dishes so that I'm not clumsy tripping on them in a smaller RV space versus your house. And it's super easy to clean up right there. I really feel like that'd be a great pet dish space. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. All right, moving on from the kitchen, moving upstairs. We will come back to the garage area. I never know the proper order to show everything on a toy hauler, so apologies for jumping around like the House of Pain. This right here is based exclusively on your feedback. They used to have this middle beam here with a door where the door is currently, and then where the mirror and the sink are. That used to be a second door into the bedroom. Now it's not. Now they have the through the looking glass Alice in Wonderland kind of radius mirror here. Mirror? I can't talk. Okay. But you get the idea. At customer feedback based request, they changed from a dual entry bathroom to a single entry bathroom. Now this is a very default, like commonly applied bathroom area, but if you notice, there's great space around the toilet. That's not a problem whatsoever. Even, you know, Johnny long legs like I am, I had plenty of room right there. This kind of caught me off guard though. When I opened this storage door, I was not expecting shelf drawer combos to slide open at me to make that super easy to access. And now that I've seen it, I'm kind of wishing more brands did it, because that is awesome. Now, this is a one-piece fiberglass shower enclosure. If I back up a little bit here, take a look at the left side of the screen. I had plenty of headroom in there. I'm a little bit over 6 foot tall, wearing thick-soled shoes in that footage right there. And like a lot of your fancy pants kind of things, they went with the multi-sprayer shower hardware, where you got the big sharp-cornered sprayer head above. You've got the removable wand for the undercarriage. Then you got the belly blaster as well. One of the other things they have here is a nice space for like wastebasket and plenty of drawer space going on in this bathroom. So again, draw your eyes to the left. You can see what's there under the bathroom sink, and then quadruple drawers down to the floors, basically happening over here in this area. So surprisingly decent, respectable storage in this. I'm happy with. I'm very happy with the bathroom. Actually, far more than I necessarily expected. By the way, multiple areas of the RV do have dimmer switches. Oh crap! Oh crap! I got to talk about the air conditioning system because it's different. What they're going to be building is different from what we see here on camera. I will try to remember to come back to that. Okay. Anyway, we're up here in the bedroom and bathroom. Let's talk about this for now. A lot of your big toy haulers still have a north-south bed and like a small closet slide. Here, they went with a full east-west bed slide. This is a nice tall upper deck in here too. I'm happy with this. With a full front closet, and that's where your washer-dryer hookups would be located. Really, if you think about it, this bedroom bathroom is just more common among the luxury fifth wheels, but that's sort of the interesting thing. Fuzion has never been the barbed wire motocross extreme Sunday brother kind of toy hauler. They've never been that. For a long time, they've basically been something classy, like a Keystone, Montana, that just happens to have a 3 Seasons garage room on the back, and that's still true today. Something I just discovered, by the way, is when the bed is in the up storage position and my chubby midsection tries to slide through it to record some footage of that dresser, you can hear my back scraping against the wall. It's tight. I need to lose some weight. Obviously, stackable prepped washer dryer location. And under the bed here, this is just a handy place to be able to store the dining table that I alluded to in the garage. There's a look at it all folded up. But also this folding telescopic ladder. This isn't the ladder to get you up to the roof. There's already a ladder built onto it. That ladder right there is dedicated for the loft area in the garage and the Happy Jack power bed lift access that we haven't really seen yet. Now, closing in, well, the bed and the slides. Road mode, baby. This is not a bed slide system that, to my knowledge, is approved to be slept in while retracted. I'll try to circle back on the bed slides to eyeball that a little bit better. Sometimes it's hard to tell from the inside. Since the hallway and the bathroom are on the same side, you know, accessing things up here is not really a problem. What I'm wondering, I don't know offhand, how much access do we have to things like the refrigerator? Because for the most part, when you have an island and you have opposing slides, when you close everything up, everything's pretty much pinched off. All right, let's see what we got here. Obviously, we can get to this section. I don't think... Okay, so you can get to half and half. You can get to half the freezer, half the fridge. Not necessarily awesome, not necessarily ideal, but at least now you know. And if you appreciate how we take the time to demonstrate all that stuff, hit that subscribe button. Now, before I forget, I got to say this out loud. Air conditioners. Okay, glad I remembered. Anyway, the air conditioning system that you're looking at in this RV today is what they used to use. But it's going to change to a true 3-zone system. And, Keystone's probably going to hate me saying this, but basically they're going to be adopting something more along the lines of like what Alliance has done in their Valor system, where you'll have essentially 3 standalone air conditioners, and it won't be like whole house centrally ducted like it is right now. So you'll have one air conditioner dedicated exclusively to the garage. You'll have one air conditioner dedicated where I'm at right now exclusively into the living room and kitchen, and then you'll have a third one, I'm estimating because I haven't seen it yet, probably shared in a mini ducted system between the bedroom and the bathroom. The 2 smallest rooms of the RV will be the only areas where you'll probably share an air conditioner. Now, this maximizes efficiency because when the air is in the ductwork, but what you don't realize is the attic of the RV, the space from the ceiling panel to the roof, it's a oven, man. It's an absolute oven. So when there's AC ducting in there, the cold air is warming up before it gets in here to you. That's not ideal. That's not awesome. The having non-ducted airs directly dumping air to every room absolutely provides the coldest service possible as directly as possible. So that's the idea behind it. That's what they're going to be changing to. All right, moving on from there. Finally, back in the garage. I should have said this so much sooner in the video. 15-foot garage, by the way. I think that's a good important note. And they have this, I think it's a patent pendant, or maybe it is patented, tie-down system right here. They've started including these handy little cover plates for all of your tie-down locations, by the way, so that like if you don't want them open and collecting crap, you can keep the majority of the crap from collecting in them. But if you pop the covers off, which is very simple and easy, what's cool about this is these are anchored directly to the cross member work of the frame. Basically, it looks like a waffle of steel under this garage floor. And where those cross sections meet is where these things are mounted. As far as I know, I think the garage in here is rated for like 3,000 pounds, but they have actually had stuff up to 5,000 pounds attached to a sample of this floor construction and flipped upside down, and they held. Maybe it's rated for more than that. I don't know. And the only way for you to double check that is to flip your RV, and I don't recommend that, so please don't do that. Now, when our footage began in what I call the floor plan in a flash footage, I had the sofas and the bed all in the up position. Just like you've seen here, how I've dropped the sofas down, the bed also can drop down, and these two sofas can fold into an additional bed, and you've seen under the front bed, table that is included with this that you could use between these sofas if you wanted to do some dining here. Because that's the thing. We call these things toy haulers, but they are luxury multi-function crossovers, basically. If you want extra sleeping space for a family or guests, or you've got an adult child with special needs, or a mother and father-in-law that live with us now, this can give them their own privacy. This model also has a half bath. There's also a loft back here we haven't seen yet. But as you're seeing, we do have these handy 3 seasons doors that I know a lot of people like, because they love the fact that they don't necessarily have to close up the entirety of the patio every morning and every night. And you can kind of latch this stuff shut, which makes you feel a little bit more secure. Don't get me wrong. There's, like, you see any of these RVs in the background. None of these things are fortresses, ladies and gentlemen. So you know, the locks and the latches, it's really there to keep an honest person honest. Tool and or helmet storage built right into the dovetail of this, by the way. Obviously, for loading, you unlatch the doors and you slide them open. But these actually do have, you can slide open the window panes, and these can become breeze-through kind of door panels as well. So these definitely seem to be, they're the more expensive option, but they're definitely the consumer preference as far as I can see. One of the other things I noticed is that I could see back here. And I get that that sounds like a stupid thing. Under, like if you leave the beds up and you drop just the sofas or anything like that, usually in a lot of toy haulers, you can't see back here because the bed covers the lights. Notice how they built some lighting tracks into the power bed lift tracks. There you go. You have track lighting in the tracks for lighting. It is so meta, it's not even funny. Look at the window coverage in here, though. Keystone's Fuzion and Raptor were pretty much the first big luxury haulers to really go all in on big window coverage in the garage, and that has just really never changed. This is one of the few that still has that classic throwback. You might have noticed the roll of carpet over here. That's so you can dispose of the bodies, basically. But if you want to, you can make this feel a little bit more like a living experience by throwing some carpet in here and not necessarily stepping on all the tie downs and stuff. My experience is that very few people ever actually use that. And I think that's why a lot of toy haulers no longer even include that little roll of carpet, but it's very inexpensive. And Keystone's been doing this forever and said, doesn't really hurt anything. You don't like it, throw it away. No big deal. By the way, that TV, why tell you when I can show you? Watch this magic trick. It's the simplest thing. In a travel trailer, this would be a left-right swinging television. Toy haulers figured out like 10 years ago, if you rotate it 90 degrees, the TV can drop down for easier viewing. Why travel trailer builders have not discovered this ancient alien technology, I don't know. But there we are. Now, the loft is not much to write home about. It looks like a set of GFI protected outlets up there. So I guess if the kid spills his bottle of water and juice or something like that, you're good to go. But there you go. Most people use this like an attic storage space. The majority of people don't use it as an actual sleeper. By the way, they maintain the same what I refer to as square flow windows back here that you have in the main living area. But take a look at this. This porcelain foot flush stool back here in the half bath. I sat myself down on it. I was expecting to like bash my funny bone on something. I was actually very pleasantly surprised as to the space that I had available there. Nothing super fancy, but decent sink, little medicine cabinet over here in the bathroom. I was pretty happy with that stuff. But again, this is one of those head scratcher things for me. Look on the right side of the screen. If you look above the half bath, it gives you the big XL Fajita Friday fume fighting fart fan. But up in the main bathroom, they drop down to a 4-inch fan. And for the life of me, I don't understand it. Now, I'm not going to stretch this out any longer than I have to. I already talk enough in these videos. If we talk towing, take a look at those weights and measures. I don't think anyone's really going to argue with me if I tell you we're basically in dually country here, folks. The Ford freaking Ranger, I don't feel is necessarily a good pairing for something like this. And keep in mind, we are looking at one of their optional paint packages. They have a couple more glossy paint packages too, and then you obviously have the standard fiberglass with sticker decals, or decals, as our Canadian friends sometimes refer to them as. You know what? While we're over here, let's go ahead and just knock out some of the utility kind of stuff. Fuzion's done this for a long time. They separate the docking center from all of your storage, which I actually kind of like, because I feel like, God forbid, if you have a water fitting that's not hooked up properly, it keeps it more properly contained in here. And taking a note from probably Brinkley, if we're going to call a spade and a duck, we have electronic gate dump valves on here, which is cool. And you might notice in the upper right corner that black plug. That is a side mount plug setup for a portable solar panel system. So it has some standard solar on the roof starting with 220 watts, and there are much, much larger packages that are available. If you want to learn all about those different things, like that's a whole separate video. So if you really want to dive into all the different solar stuff that you can get on this, just drop our team a note. Is it me? It's really dark in here. Am I missing some lights? Like, this front pass-through is really dark. Oh well, whatever. It is also heated. So forced air heated underbelly. Fuzion was one of the first fifth wheel toy hauler brands to actually do 0 to 100 degree testing, so I feel good about that. What slide system is that on that bed slide? So we have rack and pinion slides on the lower deck. I think this is actually kind of like what Rockwood does. I think it's an interior self-contained upper deck rack and pinion slide. Huh. I'm glad I looked at that. I thought for a long time they were using Schwintek slides upper deck, but obviously they are not here. So cool. All right. Not cable, not Schwintek. I'm pretty sure it's an internal self-contained rack and pinion system. Look at the nose of this thing, though. When you go Stars and Stripes edition, they couldn't help themselves. They went red, white, blue with those marker panels. It looks great. It looks like a Transformer staring at you. Patriot bot. They've adopted the new Helix pin box system, which not only does it soften the ride and improve your your experience driving the RV, but it also translates up to 50% less stress from road towing into the frame of the RV. So basically, reducing the opportunity for frame flex by 50% right from the factory level. Now, this is where all of your electronical kind of stuff is located, including the inverter, if present, like you see up top right there. The one that we're looking at must have, I'm gonna guess, the 440 solar package. Now, that yellow antenna with the red light, that's your TPMS relay, because once again, this does have factory standard tire pressure monitoring. Somebody told me the other day they always thought TPMS had something to do with toilet paper management systems. No, tire pressure monitoring system. By the way, if you ever don't know or you're unsure, don't feel like you have to leave a comment and ask a question starting with, "Hey Josh, this might be a stupid question." Do you know how many stupid questions I ask? If you ask my wife, I continue to ask stupid questions daily. But that's how we learn, guys. I've been doing this almost 16 years now. I'm still learning stuff and asking stupid questions every day. Ask the stupid question and do not feel silly for doing it. I will do the best I can to help educate you, okay? They've changed over to the Girard armless awnings, also factory standard. That is not part of the Stars and Stripes edition. They have armless awnings. You have one in the front, one in the slide face, and then one all the way in the back, plus an additional awning over the rear patio. This has a quadruple patio awning positioning system. Just another look at the pass-through. Oh, the underside of this pass-through door that I just zoomed in and passed. You notice how it's a stark white? That's going to change. Normally, the white baggage door back looked good on a Fuzion, but when you go paint edition, it just doesn't look right. So that's going to change to black. By the way, directly under that baggage door, you do have a gas grill quick connect. If you look between the slide and the stairs, you can actually see the silhouette of the spare tire down there. That is not an awesome location for it, but that's the problem with fifth wheel toy haulers. There's really not fantastic locations to place a spare tire, so it is what it is. Nice outdoor entertainment action going on here. So you have like multi-zonal entertainment, and they have recently upgraded and standardized from 7K axles to 8K axles. So you know, bigger, heavier capacity, able to carry a little bit more. We've got Cooper H-rated tires on this, by the way. We also have, when I say Dexter, sometimes people think something else, but this is the Dexter suspension package right here on this big triaxle, and you can see the red wheel hubs. That's telling us that this has anti-lock braking, factory standard. I asked if it was also including Lippert's new anti-sway technology with that. No one could tell me. I'm going to guess it isn't right now. I will also guess that it will happen in the future, but that's a theory. No one has given me that information. I'm just thinking that's probably what's going to happen. Oh, you see the red air compressor down there? That has it's got a 125 PSI capacity on that, and I love its location. So to me, that location makes a lot of sense. So like if you want to air up like some side-by-side tires or the actual RV tires. One of the problems, when I've seen some other manufacturers put air compressors on RVs that only go up to like 65 to 80 PSI, but those tires down there need more than 65 to 80 PSI. So they actually put an air compressor on it that can service the tires on the RV itself. Crazy idea. I know, right guys? Moving on. Now, I should have talked about this on the other side of the RV, but did you notice the location of the steps? They moved the steps back so that the steps are not fighting with the weight-bearing cables for this patio deck situation. They also have an additional leg that mounts externally. It brackets onto the tailgate next to the steps to provide more stability. So 3,000-pound loading rating, 1,500-pound patio rating. I don't know with the single leg support if it's still going to be considered a 3,000-pound patio setup. I don't believe so. Oh, look up top here. I am going to zoom you in, which sometimes makes some people kind of motion sick. So I'm going to move in 1, 2, 3. And we are done. I feel like a dentist basically going, all right. But they gave you handles so that transitioning from the roof to the ladder is simpler, safer, and easier. Now we're going to zoom back. 1, 2, 3. I know that some of you folks get motion sick very easy, and we are done, by the way, so you should be good to go. I just try to respect that. I'm one of those people that I don't ride very well in cars unless I can see out the window kind of thing. Airplane travel's not always the most fun for me, but I'm adapting. It's just kind of one of those things. Like a lot of big luxury haulers, we've got dual 30-gallon fuel cells. They don't cross-plumb. One is dedicated strictly for the fueling station, one strictly for the generator. And we do have a powered cord reel. So as long as you have 12-volt power, you don't have to physically wrestle that heavy freaking 50-amp cord, which is really, really nice. And I think I said something, but it is 6-point hydraulic auto leveling. And if I'm not mistaken, is this a single sewer outlet? Yes, it is. Everything does actually have a single centralized termination point. So that is awesome. And you know, it's kind of funny how things come full circle. This guy right here, his name is Mr. Aaron Swodsey. And funny thing, way back, over a decade ago?
Over a decade ago.
Aaron started as my personal customer back when I actually used to be more directly involved in sales, because I'm not now. And he actually had a really bad service problem, a whole series of service problems.
We'll say an issue.
No, he's being generous. It was bad. Anyway, we've been over backwards trying to take care of him at our store level, and we earned Aaron's respect, even though the manufacturer he bought from kind of didn't. Fair?
Fair statement. Yep.
Okay, but a couple years later, Aaron's looking for a job. We're looking for a sales guy, and I said, I know a dude that's like had 8, 9, 10 RVs. And I've always felt the best people in the business are the ones that actually camp. So I kind of got Aaron into the business, and very recently here, Aaron became our local Keystone Fuzion rep, and he's actually the guy that set this camper up today. So if you appreciate the footage, leave us a little note that says, hey, Mr. Adventure Aaron. That's what I used to call him. Thank you for setting us up today. Appreciate it. Anything you want to say to the folks?
So one other thing I want to add is, while I was working with Josh, I actually went onto the video team with him. So he was doing more of the product, and I was doing more of the lifestyle stuff. And I think together we had a lot of fun. We did a couple drive-arounds, remember, in some units?
Yeah, we used to get in motorhomes and drive around and scare
I would
people.
drive, Josh would talk about them as we were going down the road. We had a lot of fun together, and I've always had a lot of respect for him. I've always enjoyed working with him, for him. And he's just a great ambassador to this whole industry, and I'm proud to call him a good friend of mine.
You know, I'm looking at the viewfinder. I think it's safe to say we both used to be a little slimmer in the cheeks when we first met.
A little bit, and a little darker over here, not quite as salt and pepper, or
at least
more
you got
salt.
the hair.
Well, I've got some pictures of you with some hair too, so
Those
those might show up.
So I know my footage runs long, but this thing could potentially be a lot of money, and I think you deserve to know what you're getting for it. To help you understand how much a lot of money almost somehow made sense. Huh. It's kind of like how any noun can be a verb if you word it hard enough. Anyway, check the link in the description. Whether you're curious or whether you're serious, if we have one of these in stock, we'll have it on our site with pricing. Now, the one on the website may have different options from the one we looked at today. The thing on our website will always give you an estimation of the pricing of that unit on hand. And if you're curious about something else, our team can help fill in any other blanks. And we don't do hidden fees, by the way. So if you like how we show you the good with the bad and everything in between, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.